All right, my beautiful people, well, welcome back to Flashback Friday. I'm your girly goddess, Nyomi Banks here. And this again is Flashback Friday here on the season of self-love. Well, this month we are talking about reclaiming your body. And today's flashback takes us right back to the middle of my own countdown, July 20th, 25. Just weeks before I went under the knife myself on August 12th for my explant. You see, this was a part of the preparing for my transformation series. And out of everyone who I sat with that month, Miss Shelly Jean might be the one of the who made me laugh the hardest while telling the hardest truth. You see, Shelly is a BII survivor, a breast implant illness, a few years post-op by the time that we talked, and loud and proud about every bit of it. She walks us through what it actually costs to heal, and not just the $14,000 out of pocket that insurance won't touch, but the years of being told that she was fine when her body was screaming otherwise. She talks about advocating for yourself in her doctor's office, about writing down every single symptom, not so nobody can gaslight you, that no one can gaslight you out of your own experience, and about the freedom, the actual physical freedom of finally putting her body first. So this is one of those conversations that reminds you healing isn't polite, and it doesn't have to be. Sometimes it's loud, sometimes it's funny, and sometimes it's both at the same damn time. So let's get into it. Here's my conversation with Miss Shelly Jean. All right, my beautiful people. Well, welcome back to the Season of Self-Love podcast. I'm your host, Nyomi Banks, and this is Wisdom Wednesday. You know, as we continue our July series on preparing for transformation, today I am so honored to share this space with someone who courage and vulnerability will touch your heart, perhaps illuminate your own path. Shelly Jean, she is a BII survivor who has walked the explant journey with grace, strength, and an unwavering commitment to her own healing. Shelly's story is a testament to the power of listening to our bodies, trusting our inner knowing, and just having the courage to choose ourselves even when that choice feels scary or uncertain. Her journey reminds us that true transformation often requires us to release what no longer serves us, even when we once thought it defined us. So before we bring Shelly to the stage, let's take a quick break, all right? It's your girl, the goddess, Nyomi Banks, here on the Season of Self-Love podcast, and we'll be right back. You know what I just realized? You know what I just realized? When you start your discipline game, right? When you are really committed to yourself, you feel different. You feel different. And a part of that is taking care of your body in every way. In every way. And that is where Goldie comes in. That is where Goldie comes in. I'm literally doing the 30 hard challenge, right? 30 hard challenge right now, right? So that's 30 minutes of spiritual, 30 minutes of walking, 30 minutes of working out, 30 minutes of reading and eating healthy. But the healthy eating part, that starts with the gut. That starts with the gut. So your gut is where everything begins. Your energy, your mood, your immune system, it all connects to your gut health. And see, that is why Goldie, the apple cider vinegar, right here, when you are committing to discipline, you want your body to be supported. And that's commitment. And that is commitment. As well as Goldie has this renewed NAD+, right? This is something that I've been using on a regular. But this is where your cellular energy, your body, this is what it needs when you are doing the real work on yourself. The real work on yourself. So because here's the truth. You can't show up as your best self if you're not ready with the things that is supported. So discipline isn't just a mental thing. It's physical, it's nutritional, it's the whole. It's the whole. So now it's up to you. Use code ASKNYOMI when you place your order. And I want y'all to get your gut healthy. Get your gut healthy. Get your energy up. And I want you to show up for yourself. That is what discipline looks like. All right? All right, my beautiful people, well, welcome back. Hey, hey, Shelly Jean.
Naomi,
How are you?
I'm fabulous. And yourself?
I am good. I am good. I am excited about this. First of all, I want to say thank you. Thank you for being courageous to share your story. I know you've already been through it. You few years post-op, if I'm correct, and so
Yes.
you've been through the journey. You've seen it all, and I'm just glad that you're here to help me to just bring more awareness to it because you was out there first. I'm just following right behind you right now, sister.
Thank you. And you know that's exactly what I want to be doing is sharing my story so that others like you that are going through this journey can feel confident that they too will be okay. And that's the whole goal because as we're going through what we're going through, we're already really, really sick. So
Yes.
let's get to the healing side. Let's get to the other side and feel great about that. So yes, thank you
Oh.
for having me to talk about this.
I love that. I love that. All right. So, Shelly Jean, what we usually do before we get deep into the topic, we have a nice little grounding session. We ground ourselves before we get in the topic just to prepare us to be open and ready to receive whatever topic, whatever message comes from our conversation. All right. All right, listeners. So, you already know what we do. You close your eyes and get in a nice little comfortable position. All right. Take a deep, nourishing breath in, hold it gently. Now exhale slowly, allowing your tight body to soften and settle. I want you to feel yourself being held by this moment, supported by the earth beneath you, surrounded by the love and acceptance. Now I want you to visualize your heart opening like a flower, ready to receive the wisdom and the courage that comes from someone who has walked the path of deep healing and transformation. And as you breathe, I want you to invite your own inner knowing to awakening. The part of you that recognizes truth when you hear it, that it resonates with the stories of courage and authentic living. Now I want you to breathe in openness to learn and breathe out any judgment of preconceptions. You are here to witness a sacred story of healing. And in doing so, you honor your own journey toward wholeness. And when you are ready, gently bring your awareness back to our conversation, carrying this sense of openness and reverence with you. All right, my beautiful people. Thank you for just sharing that space with me. And if you are new here to the Season of Self Love podcast, it's something we do every day, Monday through Friday, again, just to ground us before we get into the topic at hand. All right, so as someone who has, I'm just weeks away from my own expect journey, I am deeply grateful for women like you who are willing to share their stories openly and honesty. You know, and these conversations, they matter not just because they provide information, but because it reminds us. It reminds us that we are not alone in the struggles of our healing. So when we share our stories of transformation, you know, the messy, the beautiful, the challenging, the empowering reality, we're choosing ourselves. We create the bridge of understanding hope for others who are walking similar paths. Well, again, Shelly Journey is particularly powerful because it demonstrates that healing is not just about removing what's harming us, but it's about reclaiming our relationship with our bodies, with our intuition, and with our authentic selves. Today, we will explore beginning of her story, the awakening that led her to question her implants, the courage it took to make the decision to have them removed, and the profound healing that she's experienced on the other side. Again, Shelly, thank you for being here with me and your willingness to share your journey with our community. But before we dive into your story, I want to acknowledge again the courage that it takes to be vulnerable here in that way. So I'm gonna do you like no.
Thank you. Thank you. I am gratefully receiving. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. So I'm going to share with the listeners right now. So last week, she was actually supposed to came in last week. I'm putting you on the spot real fast. And
That's
she
okay.
came in so nervous, and she was like, "Are we going to record right now?" I'm like, "Oh, no, no." And I said, "Well, no." I said, "Well, let's take our time because I know how sensitive it is to open up to someone about your journey, especially this a choice that you made in your life, and now you're opening up about it." And so in that conversation, we had so many things with just so mirroring and echoing to one another. And it was so funny because she was just saying, and this is my life and this is such and such. And I'm like, girl, if you only knew my life.
I had to Google.
Yeah.
Never even more. Oh my gosh.
And it was so funny because we were talking and everything like that. And we exchange information. That all of a sudden I see on my text, girl, you a superstar. You didn't say all that.
That's what I love. That's what I love is that people that when they get to meet you, they don't know who you are. They don't know what you're about. They don't know anything. And a lot of people will come to whatever they want to come to on their conclusions, their judgments, or whatever that is. And which will lead right into where we're headed with our whole entire story. So at the age of 29, I'm a mom of 3 kids. I have 2 boys and a daughter. And I moved from a little city of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, to the big city of Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Wow.
And I was recruited into a club called, at that time, Solid Gold. And it is a very Las Vegas style dance club. And I decided that I wanted to go there just for a year and to take care of my family. It was fast money. It was good money. And the club was absolutely gorgeous. The people there were it was a very high class. It wasn't your typical stripper club. And we were called entertainers. And it was definitely very Las Vegas style. We had to dress very, very nice. At that time, you had to dance on pedestals. So I was an entertainer and a dancer, taking care of my 3 kids. That's what I was doing. And people would ask me what I did for a living, and I would just say I was an entertainer at a nightclub, and they never asked.
That's right.
It was like the craziest thing. I'm like, not any kind of entertainer or anything. And I'm like, so I like just let that be. But that's where the lies told us come into, because when people just start finding out there was this other big judgment, then it was you're a prostitute, you're this, you're that, and all the other things. And I'm like, you know what? Even if you were, these people are doing what they had to do to take care of themselves. There is no judgment for me. And so I decided that I wanted to talk to this group of women and men that are in here. Because for me, I got implants because I wanted to be my best at my job.
Yeah.
That is how it all started.
Yeah.
And that was in 1991. And at that time, then I'm 31 years old, I get implants. And I fell right into, there was a whole big thing going on with implants too, that it was a national thing that, whoever came into the implants, you were on this list. So if anything happened to you, then the implants, they had to take care of things, right? So anyway, I fell into that category. And nothing happened to me literally for 10 years. And it was like shortly after the 10 years is when I finally was like, wait a minute, I've had all these different kinds of symptoms and things that were happening. One thing I want to say though, before any of that though, is that when we decide to get implants or we decided to get face injections and Botox and all these different things, I want you to know that these are very, very toxic things that we're doing to ourselves. We aren't even aware, or we're in such denial about it, or it could never happen to me. Or we do it because of, again, I did it for my profession. That was my business. And I did it for that reason. And other people do it too, because, oh my gosh,
I can make more money. I'll be more popular. I can build my brand.
Exactly. And even if you're not in this industry, we have to do these things because we have to keep up with the next person or the friends or what social tells us. And back in my day, we didn't have social media. We had
Right.
magazines and we had TV commercials and we had all these things that said, hey, you got to look a certain way to be accepted. And it is even more so today. I see on TikTok all the things, like it just drives me crazy that you get fed and you get led into these things. And you know what? Just being yourself is the best thing you can be.
Yeah.
And I've learned that from my own experience. So there's that.
Yeah. All of that is so relatable. I just, even, our conversation last week, it was amazing just how we just connected, right then and there. But I think so many of us, that we can understand those feelings and motivation about wanting to be at our very best, wanting to get whatever it can to enhance whatever it is that we are doing. And looking back now with all of the wisdom and experience that you gain, how do you feel about the version of yourself who made that decision then?
I was really in denial back then
Mm,
because I had heard a little bit about it and everything. And I was like, and I was that person that said it will never happen to me. And it very did happen to me. Like I all of a sudden found myself going to different doctor visits for different things. Like, for an example, I would have like no libido,
mm,
so there was nothing happening with me and my husband. And I did get married and we were together for a very long time. Different things just kept coming up. I'd be real lethargic or all these different things. And then it was like, well, you must be in perimenopause or you must be in menopause or, I just got all these different things. And at one point, my doctor put in my chart, I was a hypochondriac. And I was like,
mm,
no, I'm not. Like, these are real. But in the regular physician, when you ask for tests to be taken, it doesn't show what's happening.
right.
So they don't know that it's breast implant illness. They don't know any of that. And I didn't know any of that either. It wasn't until I was led into a group of 55,000 women at that time that I started learning that, there was this thing called breast implant illness. And I was like, what does that even mean? And then I started doing my research in this group, started connecting with the ladies in there, and I was like, oh my gosh, what if it's true? What if this is what I have? And because it all just made sense, all the
Yeah.
dots were connecting, and I still just didn't want to believe that, though. I just really wanted to believe that, no, because I wanted to keep my boobies,
Yeah.
like, let's not do that. And it wasn't long after that, though, that I was like, I think I really have to do something different. So on top of all of that, my son at this point, I have my oldest son. I was sharing with Nyomi. He was on a roof and he was throwing debris off, and he got struck by a piece of wood that had a nail in it, threw him over, and it paralyzed him from his nipples down. So I
Mm,
now became his caretaker. So I left my industry, became my son's caretaker, and ultimately he had died, and he had died the day before his 30th birthday.
mm,
So he had left me money because he wanted to take care of his mama, which I thought was very,
mhm.
very awesome. He said, Mom, you took good care of me. I want to take care of you. And so I decided that I'm going to change up my implants. Now, when I first got my implants too, that's another part of this story, which is a complete lie, is that my doctor, I actually went to Oklahoma. I had mine done by
Mm,
down in Oklahoma. And when he put him in, he said, you can have these for life. You'll be fine. You don't have to worry about it, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, okay, I trusted him as my doctor.
right. Mm-hmm.
And so when I decided that again, when I was learning things and I'm thinking, okay, it's my implants, I got my implants out and had new ones put in 2012. And when I tell you, it made I knew then it was the implants. All of the symptoms that I had that were keeping me from losing weight. I was gaining weight. I was choking. I was having a lot of problems choking on things,
Mm-hmm.
and just all these different things. When I had my new implants put in, all of that went away.
Mm,
It's really crazy. And but what was even crazier though is that so part of the story too, I have to back up a little. Naomi, I am still nervous.
No, that's okay. You're good. You're doing
I
amazing.
try not to do that.
You are doing amazing.
Thank
You
you.
really are. You are doing amazing. You actually, I'm scrolling through my questions because you answering the questions before I even asked. So you're doing great. I told you you was a talker.
No, let's just let you ask me the questions and we keep going on. I have to tell people too that one of the great things that happened out of this too is like I'm the kind of person though that it took me a while, but I do find gratitude in all the things that happen.
Yeah.
And during this, that happened was my husband. Not only did my son die, but my husband had left me for a friend in our group of friends.
Mm,
My daughter had had a miscarriage. I had a son that was in prison for unintentional murder, and I found out I had cancer.
mm,
And the only reason I found out I had cancer was because when my husband left me, I wanted to go meet a guy. So I went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, well, let's just, you know, do a PAPS and let's check, and found out that I was full of cancer. So had
mm.
my husband not left me, I would not have went because I wasn't sick. I didn't feel anything.
Right.
So what he said to me though was interesting, that he couldn't figure out why my cancer cells were on the outside of my uterus.
Mm,
And he said it was very unusual. And uh, so we went ahead. He had to do a radical hysterectomy and an appendectomy and a limb cleaning.
mhm,
And what he found out is that people kept telling me that it was the HPV virus that did it. I had two doctors that said it wasn't. My doctor was adamant. He's like, that is not what it is. And I did look that up for you, Naomi, and what it is, and other people can check into it too. It was called an an edema carcinoma insita. So, which meant that my cells were on the outside of my uterus and everything, and it wasn't the typical HPV.
right.
I can promise you now that it was caused by my
That's
implants.
sense. Mm,
100%. With
mm.
all the research that I've seen, all the research that I've gotten into, it was definitely breast implant related. So anybody that thinks and has symptoms of any kind, like let's say, plus right now too, I've again, like you said, I explanted 3 years ago, but I'm having symptoms again. So like I
Mm,
have big splashes all over. I'm having brain fog issues again. I'm having choking issues again. So I'm thinking that my first set of implants, when they got switched, or when my doctor explanted 3 years ago, we didn't think, and I failed to say anything about my first implants that were switched out, that I don't think that those were properly
taken out.
out. So I have remnants from before. So
Mm,
the heel is real and it's real. The illnesses in this are real. And so I've been going to the doctors again. I got really, really sick in December and January. And I was out, like down, like I couldn't barely function. And so I started going back to the doctor again. And what they're trying to diagnose me with now is rheumatoid arthritis, which is another symptom of breast implant illness. So again, all the dots are connecting. And I'm like, nope, I'm not doing that. I'm not taking all these drugs either for a lot of different things. Now, Naomi, you were telling me, let's talk about you. You're the one supposed to do the interview. I'm doing all the talking. But
this is how it's supposed to go, though. How you gonna try
no,
to
no,
switch
no.
it
We have to talk about you because what I love about you, and when we were talking, was because you are coming up on getting your implants out.
up?
And
Mhm.
now I would love for you to share what your symptoms are and everything, and what made you decide that this was something that you needed to do. Because I think it's really important for your people that know you and your fan base also, not only like you do have somebody that has been there, done that, and I'm still going through it, but you're in your journey with this. So let's hear about you for a while.
All right, so I'm gonna say this because Shelly knew over here, y'all. Shelly don't know I talk every day on here. So by the time you and I have talked, I've already unshared all of my symptoms and everything
Oh,
with you.
wonderful.
Yes, girl.
Good.
I don't. But no. I don't. I make sure that every rock is turned. That we look it up under everything. That every layer is pulled back. That is how. It makes no sense for me to come and do these interviews or do this podcast and not share my story. So when we talk about Wisdom Wednesday, I give the stage to you, beautiful ladies, to share your story because they hear my story every day. Remember, I'm on Monday through Friday.
I love
So they
it.
already know my why and they know about my symptoms, but I'm going to share some of the symptoms with you that I've had. Brain fog, extreme migraines that they had me on different types of medication, vertigo, shooting pains throughout my whole entire body where I'm disabled. Have very disabling moments where I'm in a bed for 5 to 6 days at a time. Very tired, short of breath,
Yeah.
swelling of the legs, swelling of the arms. Just like one day I might look like a balloon, and then the next moment, then I'm slimmed down. All of these inconsistencies. I didn't get the rashes like everybody else had been getting, thank you God. But when I say about the pains that go through the nerves and hitting here, and you guys can't see me right now, but I'm talking about on the side of my head, like coming from my brain down. And that's why I saw a neurologist to see what was going on there. And that was all a fluke there as well.
Yeah.
But just even understanding, just going through with the medication. Every medication had a side effect that was
Yeah.
creating something else and putting more pain on what I've already had. And like you said, going back and forth with the yo-yo dieting. I have been a certain weight even through my 3 pregnancies, and I'm able to drop it like this. But now it's on. I had a baby at 40 years old, and honestly, that is when, after I had her, and I was on bed rest that whole entire time, after I had her, probably about a year later, is really when a lot of the symptoms started happening. I couldn't drive. Sun, my body was very sensitive to sun. Like I couldn't be out in the sun at all, even in the car. And I was like, what is happening to my body? And I remember going back and forth to the doctor. They was telling me, it's, I don't know, let's send you go get some tests. Let's give you some medication, maybe it's premenopausal, if everything under the sun, but I'm still getting my menstrual. Everything is still flowing the way it is. But I was still coming up with those symptoms where I'm not able to work. I'm not able to do anything because I'm down. So when I started going through my spiritual journey, and I want to be at 100 because I love what I do. So I want to be at 100,
Yeah.
sharing everything that I've been through. And I remembered the last time that I had went to the neurologist, and he just a fluke. I'm gonna say it again. I ain't gonna say his name, but it was something that God was telling me, like, look, I need to show you that they can't do nothing for you, that you have to take responsibility and accountability because you have put two foreign objects in your body that's creating toxicity through you. And until you remove them, we can't connect the way that you really want us to connect. You can't be in the whole completion. So for me, it was physical, but it also was spiritual. And in that time when I decided, I didn't even think about sharing it on the podcast. I didn't think about sharing it at all until a few weeks ago when my body totally shut down after I had a beautiful vacation. Come back, I'm thinking I'm about to do a fashion show. I'm about to do this with Dr. Will. We about to do a retreat, everything. And my body, my legs swelled up to where I could not walk, Shelly. I could not walk. And I'm like, what the hell? Headaches, pain, vertigo. The room was spinning as I'm laying down, just everything possible, Captain. Short of breath. I couldn't even talk. So it made sure that I was not going to work. The only thing that I was able to do was on that Monday, I had a client. And so I had to make sure that, a matter of fact, I had 2 clients that day. The second one, the internet acted up, so I couldn't even meet with that client. But at least I met with that first client, went through that. I was in pain. He was like, "No, you look great. Like you're just a glow about you." I'm like, like it's really not, But as soon as I shut down that and I sent him over his notes for things, my body just was like, whoop,
Yeah.
shut me completely down. But then all the things started coming to me. I was like, okay, I'm shut down for a reason. Is it something that I'm missing? Am I moving too fast? And I remember sitting at my altar. And I was like, okay, what is happening to me? And my voice like this, what is happening to me? And all I heard was that this needs to be a series. You need to change what you're doing in July, and this needs to be a whole series, and you need to speak and talk about it. And I'm like, okay. Now let's go back a little bit when I was talking to Laura Borden, when I first, had scheduling and stuff like that. The very first conversation that her and I had, she was crying on the phone because she was like, because the one thing that I love about Dr. Sood is that he no longer does implants. He would not do it at all. And I love that about him because he said,
Yes.
I will no longer harm another woman for profit. I would not do it anyway. Now that I know better, I have to do better. And even in him speaking with me and talking to me, it's like, you're in good hands. I'm going to make sure that you are comfortable and you love what you look like when we're done. Because I know why women come to me in the first place. And that set with me, and it set in my soul in the way that it came about. I had two appointments with two other doctors, that same week. And I went to one and he was like, well, he showed me these pictures and it was just, oh my God, it was just so horrible as looking at them. And like, he was like, well, I had a lady come back, she took them out and she came back in 2 years and I just put them back in. When you know what it does to women, you wouldn't think that you would do your best to make sure they look good, at least to them, because you know what they're going through.
Yep.
No. And right then that told me, no, Dr. Sood, I shouldn't even have came here. I just wasted my time, but I know I committed to going to that consultation. So let me do that. And as soon as, matter of fact, I was in a car and I called Laura, said, okay, book me. Book me. And then that was it. And I knew that it was all divine time and I knew that it was supposed to happen. But going back to the altar, fast forward, that all replayed in my head. And I said, no, this is where I need to be doing this. And my prayer was always to be connected to women somehow. How can I be to a service to women? You understand what I'm saying?
I
Mostly
do.
when women see me, a lot of women are intimidated because of what my past career was. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes women can't look past
Nope.
that to
Nope.
even hear the message that they are receiving. And I'm not saying all women, but I'm saying some. And I know God using me not just to witness to men, but also witness to women as well. And I made a choice in my life, in my career, coming from insecurity, coming from wanting to build a career off of beauty. It ain't nothing wrong with that. Let me say that. It ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm not trying to shame anybody, but I also have to take accountability of the choices and the decisions that I made. And in that case, if the platform that I've grown and that was built on my boobs, I thank them for that. But also, I have to be responsible with my platform too and say, you know what? They're not good. They're not good for me. And I'm like you. I went quite a few years without having anything going on. Anything going on. When I went and got my second set of implants, that is when I started to see things after I had my baby. And it could have been something before, and I just, but now I'm paying attention. I'm more aware of what my body is and what it's not, and what's no longer serving me, you know. And so when I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do, I'm starting off this, this little series. And then it was like, no, you need to create a whole podcast for it. And so in January, that's what I'm going to do after I heal. after I heal. And I already told you I want you back, to come on the show then. But this is a part of my calling. This is a part of my purpose. How can I talk about self-love when I have two foreign objects in my body that was a part of me, so-called loving myself? Does that make sense? So
It
yeah,
does.
yeah.
It absolutely does. That's a problem that I have too, even with the network marketing industry.
Mm-hmm.
When I have these women who are so stuffed full of Botox and all the things and talk to me about health. And I'm like, no. And as I'm sitting over here, my face literally is falling and I can't get it up.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, because I had to go into surgical menopause like super quickly.
Mm,
And I didn't even realize that menopause actually is a whole lifetime thing. I
mm,
thought, once you get through it and you do all the things, it'll
yeah.
go. No, it's not like that. And what's happened too is, since just like what you were talking about with brain fog and everything, I remember standing at the grocery store. I parked my car in the same spot. I'm a creature of habit. And I could not tell you where I parked my car. And I was like, okay, that was a moment that I knew too that
Yeah.
there's something way wrong here. And it was with my second set too, that
Yeah.
it just got even worse. And it was just crazy. But now I'm 65 years old.
You
And
don't look it.
thank you. This last year, though, especially the last 6 months, as I've noticed again with all these other symptoms that coming back, like I literally, like my face and everything is just like I have aged dramatically. And that is another part of, and yes, I'm 65. Yes, I'm in menopause, all these things. But I've always been, like you said, I have had 3 kids too. And like I was actually thinner before I had my kids,
Mm-hmm.
or after I had
After
my
you
kids
have it. Hmm.
before. So I've always been able to just come back really
Yeah.
quickly from any kind of anything that I've ever endured. And this has been the biggest challenge of my life. And same with you. I have gained so much weight no matter what I've done. I have tried fasting, I've tried different products, I've done this, I've done that, and it won't budge. And my doctor that I have now, who's a lady doctor in I'm doing women. It's like a lot of women doctor, and gone through all this, explaining everything to her. She's actually doing research on learning about breast implant illness because she didn't even know.
Mm.
I said, as long as you know when you're learning and you can do this with me, we'll be great. If you can't, I got to go somewhere else because I need someone that knows that this is actually a real deal. And so she's been really, really good about that. And but I agree. If you don't have some kind of connection with who you're talking to about this, and this is the problem. Uh, when I started talking to, I've had 6 girls in this industry that have explanted. I have
Beautiful.
another one of my friends that's explanting who's not in the industry, but she heard about my story, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, Shelly," she's like, "I like you, Nyomi." She's like down. She's like,
Mm-hmm.
"I can't function. I got brain fog. I got this. I got that." And I said, "Girl, I swear, I think you have breast implant illness." Now, I talked to Nyomi about this last week too. Is the group that I was put in, it was really good till it wasn't. I learned a lot of things about the lady that has this group, and I actually got kicked out, and which was a good thing, another good thing. But when I left that group, there was 160,000 women in that group.
Oh, wow.
So I have to tell you, ladies, that we are not all wrong.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking, oh, that couldn't happen to me, I'm telling you, yes, it can.
Mhm.
And I have a girlfriend too who she has Graves' disease. I didn't even know she had implants. And I said the same thing to her. I said, "Are you sure?" And I told her a little bit about breast implant illness, and she just wasn't open to hearing it. And but Graves, she got diagnosed with Graves' disease, and Graves' disease is an autoimmune deficiency that goes with
Mm-hmm.
breast implant illness. Like there's just so much. Like the list is like profoundly long.
Yeah.
And there are so many groups. You can go on Facebook and you can just put in breast.
Yeah.
It will take you to so many groups that will blow your mind.
Yeah.
Your mind.
And yeah. You know, it's so funny when I interviewed Laura last week and we were talking. She was like, let me tell you something. She said, I'm going to be honest. Every group is not for you. She said, every group is
No,
not because you will go into those groups and people will truly scare the hell out of you. She didn't say scare the hell out of you, but I knew what she meant about scare the hell
yeah,
out of you, you know, because they will, you know, a lot of people will come in anonymously and just throw different things to try to throw you off. And I'm just being honest because when
that's
you're
true.
going into here you're looking for an answer to why you're going through what you're going through. And so when you go into these groups, you're looking for someone who is familiar to you, where you can resonate, that might not look like you but look like you, if that makes sense.
Yes.
When you start to see all of the symptoms and you start to see like, wow, wait, I go through, oh, that maybe that's it. Maybe that is what's going on with my body. Trust and believe it. there is several different beautiful women that I know that are friends of mine that have either went through something and did not want to think that it was BII, breast implant illness, and some that say if it is, then I don't care because I don't want to lose these, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's so unfortunate because it's like, and this is an honest question. It's like, what do we do with them? How can we, have them remove them? And I know it's a new technique now. I got to do a lot more research on it, but where the fat transfer, is that more healthier than the implants alone? I don't want to say, because that was my first notion. It's like, well, just do the fat transfer. But then again, I don't know if that's as safe as the implants, even though it's your own, your own fat, your own body going into another part of your body. Has that anything that you thought about, or even referred that to anyone that you've spoken with?
So interestingly enough, on the fat transfer too, you have to have the right doctor for that too. So I learned from a doctor. I wish I could remember his name. He is from California, and he was a very high profile doctor. Same thing. He stopped doing implants for the same thing you were talking about. And I'm wondering if it isn't the same doctor. I could be wrong, but he stopped doing implants too. And he does do fat transfer. And he talked about the technique like unbelievable. And I was like, okay, well that makes sense. And then you have other doctors though, they're just literally putting your fat transfer cells into your breast and just basically letting it sit there. That's not how it works. Like you literally have to put these cells in, or the fat transfer inside your cells. Like he was very detailed about it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I would never have known that.
Yeah.
So there's a process for that too. So every single thing that we do that we feel is enhancing ourselves, you had better do your clinical research.
Yeah.
Like, and that was the thing too. When I got my implants, I didn't research it. You know
Yeah.
what my research was the girls that I was surrounded with.
Yeah.
Oh, I love your boobs. I love yours. I love yours. Who did yours? Who did yours? And then my dad, of all people, my dad has his friend had this doctor down in Oklahoma who that's all he did for all the women down in the southern states
Right.
that were in the industry. So my dad's like, you got to go to him. And I did. And he did a beautiful job. I came back and it was like, oh my gosh, we can't go to Oklahoma, but I mean, that was my research.
Yeah.
And then just one thing led to another. And now though, I'm like, okay, so this is why we are having this conversation, Nyomi, because this is what we have. I really feel too. I really wanted to start this too a while ago. I told you the story about my girlfriend, Laura. I have a girlfriend, Laura, too. So Laura and I were in the industry together too. Laura was super sick, like on her deathbed. Same as Nyomi, couldn't get out of bed. Literally couldn't. And every time she eats, she'd throw up, like all these things. And so Laura and I did the same thing. We had a few different doctors that we were talking to, and she found Dr. Cayenne for us. And Dr. Cayenne, though, does do breast implants. However, she was in the group that I got kicked out of, and was learning about breast explants, breast implant illness. And so when we went to her, she was very empathetic with us. And even though I knew she still did implants, she was definitely very concerned for both of us. And we both went, so we both had our surgeries a week apart from each other. It was crazy. And they actually called me to see if they could get Laura in before me because they really didn't think Laura was going to make it. That's how sick she was. So people that underestimate what breast implant illness can do, there are stories after stories after stories. Nyomi is one of them, on just completely bedridden, and it paralyzes you. Like it literally paralyzes you. Your body is full of toxins, and where does it go? Like it just starts attacking you from the inside out, basically. And so that's why we're here having this conversation, is to bring awareness to it, just like with breast cancer. And it does cause breast cancer too. Like I said, it caused uterine cancer for me. There's all these different things. If you don't think it can cause Alzheimer and dementia too, it treats, those symptoms are treated as if they were dementia or Alzheimer's. That's what my doctor was trying to tell me too. And I said, no, absolutely not. I'm not going to go with you on that one.
Yeah.
That's when I went and got my implants out. And then everything was great until, like I said, just this last year And then all of a sudden things are happening again. I'm like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
But again, I feel like even going through what I'm going through right now at 65 years old is to bring awareness to others that it's an ongoing thing. It can be. Laura, though, she's doing fantastic.
Yeah.
She has no
That's
symptoms.
beautiful.
She's doing wonderfully. She's like lost like 50 pounds. Like she's amazing. She's a massage therapist, and she too grounds herself really, really well. And so this has just been an incredible journey. Well, really for all of us. And so Nyomi, I seriously am just so looking forward to what's happening with you when you get your explants and your healing journey, and the heal is real. That's our logo. That's our slogan. The heal is real.
Mm-hmm.
Just be clear. It's not going to be all peachy peachy. It might be, but there are implications for everything, and that's what I love about what Nyomi is doing too, is to bring awareness to all sides of it. And yes, to get to back to your point too on, let me tell you what the biggest thing for me when I got my implants out was hugging my family. Like heart to heart.
Mm-hmm.
Like I will take the itty bitties any day just to feel that again. Because before it was like my big old chest was in the way, and even though mine were seriously like nice and cushy, squishy, not the normal, like there's a lot of them that too will get hard after time because they're calcified. There's like all kinds of things that happen to them too. Just being able to have that heart to heart made all the difference in the world for me. Like that solidified my every being. Like I love being to the little itty bitties now just for that reason. So I really feel like you have to figure out and find out, and for this a million times, and I was like, wow, it really is your why. Because like the second that I got it, like nothing, no matter what my chest looked like, no matter what happened, no matter what they had to do, like first of all, it was like I wanted my brain back. That was the first and foremost. Like just give me my brain back. I want to know where I parked my car. I want to know that my keys are, in my hand and not in the refrigerator. I want to know that at that time I had 2 little puppies. I'm like, I just want to make sure that I made sure I got them back in the house. Cause like I had to keep checking and it was like OCD. Like, okay, they're in the house. And then I had to start writing everything down, and then I had to check it. I'm like, yep. Okay. I did do that. So it is very, very real, and it's very, very scary. So just know that you are not alone, and we are here to support you, and we are here to help you in your journey. And like Naomi's got the lady in the back of her. Like Laura is amazing. So you can't go wrong with Laura.
Yeah, yes, she is. So I want to go back. I just want to go back just a little bit to after you had your surgery, after the explant. Walk me through what that felt like and what, let's say the first 6 months. Let's just say the first 6 months. How did you feel from there? Was the symptoms gone automatically, or did it take a moment and some time for them to go away?
So interestingly enough, Laura, I can speak for Laura too. And I told you to, I actually was going to send you the link, and I forgot to send you the link. I actually found it. I did an interview with Laura on what happened with us. It's on my YouTube channel. And Laura immediately, like within, like right after surgery, she was like, Shelly, my eyes aren't red anymore. I can see the whites of my eyes. And I'm thinking, Laura, you just got full of IV fluid, like you're hydrated. Of course, your eyes are going to be white, but they really were white. Like the redness in her eyes did go away. And she like literally felt amazing, like immediately.
Yeah.
Does that happen to everybody? No. Sometimes it does take a while. So with me, I did notice too right away, my memory like came back like at 80%.
Nice.
I was like, yes. And it was that moment too. I was like, the clarity, I was like, okay, it really is the implants. Like I got my memory back. And then just different things started coming back together too. And one of the things too that that boggles my mind, and it's just me, is all the fear that comes around having your explants. And I'm like, but you got them put in. Like you had surgery, all of a sudden surgery is this big fear, like they don't want to go under, they're not going to come back out. And I'm like, but you went into surgery and had them put in. So I'm like, that's really boggles me. And and that's just my honesty about that. For me, it was like, I'm going to get these things out. Like
Yeah.
and again, my why was I just want to feel good. I want my brain to work. So I was fortunate too that Dr. Cayenne we actually had the bags. Like
Yeah.
we had the bags and everything, and we were wrapped and everything, and that worked. There are some doctors that don't believe in it, and others are like, and I'm going to tell you right now, I do not ever go to a doctor that says we'll just give you a local. No,
Mm,
you have surgery.
yeah.
You need to get a whole and black capsulectomy. You get all of that junk out of you. You have to do that. It's very, very important. So for me, the journey was not that hard. They say 6 weeks, don't lift your arms, don't do this, don't do that. It really depends on you. And
Right.
and so that was the other thing too in the group said, and this is the other thing that you still continue to compare yourself to others.
Yeah. Mm,
Stop doing that. Stop doing that, because how you live, how you eat, how all the things, you are completely different than somebody else. So your recovery is going to be completely different than the other person. And then somebody will say, well, that didn't work for me. And you said, no, 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 no. They said it because it worked for them. Does not mean
that
it's going
means
to
it's gonna
work
work
for
for
you.
you. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So everybody's journey is going to be different. However, the end goal though is that we are all in it together.
Yeah.
We're here to support you to know that, you know what, all these fears that you have are real, and they're acknowledged. I hear you, I see you, and I understand that, you know. But I just want for you to get healthy. I want you to get these things out and to live your life. Like I'm 65. Like we could go any day. It doesn't matter our
Right.
age. It does not matter. But what I want to do is I want to live a long life. I still want like 10, 20 years ahead of me.
Yeah.
And I don't want to die a long life. And with implants in, so to your point, Naomi, when you talk about the women who are like, they're more afraid of what they look like
Yeah.
than how they're going to feel. So they'll keep these toxic bags in, but it will devastate.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna call out someone right now on that. I'm like Wendy Williams.
Mm,
When all
mm.
her symptoms started in the beginning, I said, "Oh my gosh!" I go, "It's got," and she just kept getting bigger and bigger implants, and the bigger they got, the sicker she was getting. And there was a bunch of us women that were trying to get to her publicist and whoever to say, get those out of
That's
her,
hard.
figure
Mm,
it out. Because then she was diagnosed with all these things. And I'm like, her feet, same as you, Naomi. Talk about her legs were swelling up. She had to come on stage with different shoes. She
right.
didn't work. And next thing you know, she's drinking. Well, of course she's drinking. She's feeling like she
To
is
sustain the pain, to erase the pain. Yeah.
it's the
Mm-hmm.
pain, and implants cause major depression, like because of these chemicals that are going, they're all throughout your body. And to this very day, I still believe that if they would get those implants out of her and get her on a
Yeah.
different road of healing, she would be just fine.
Yeah. I
Guaranteed.
believe that too. Just when you just said that, let's just say ding, ding, ding. That really, it was just a ding, ding, ding for me. Like, oh, wow. You
Yeah.
are absolutely right. Wow. Wow.
Yep.
I
And I
got
think
one more.
time.
Yeah, I got one more important question for you, and it's personal. What does your body feel like now? And I know that you said that you still feeling some things, and that
Yeah.
kind of came back. So I want you to explain: is it like the first time, or is it more on a milder type of feel that you have right now? And has your relationship with your body changed?
Oh, so for me, yes, because I'm having symptoms again. It definitely has changed. But again, like you said, you intuitively you know what's going on with your body. So I know that there's some, it's got to be from the first implants. It has to be. And I just know that I didn't and give Dr. Cayenne all of the specs on that.
Yeah,
So that is not her fault that that didn't happen. I needed to be more clear about those things.
yeah,
So, but as far as like my brain and everything though, I have moments again right now. And again, it's just because I know that I just have to go back to her and we
yeah,
just need to go through things. Or I've got to call Laura Dawn. Like
mhm,
something's got to happen.
yeah.
Definitely not as bad. Absolutely not.
Okay.
But knowing though that it is breast implant illness related though, yeah, I have comfort in that.
That's beautiful.
That's the thing. I have comfort in that, knowing that that's what it is. I don't have, like I said, one doctor is trying to tell me I have rheumatoid arthritis. Well, that's probably true, but
Mm-hmm.
as I know where it's coming from,
Right.
and this is the other side of doctors is like I'm infuriated with doctors that treat the symptoms and don't want to figure out where the source is, because
Yeah.
it's coming from somewhere. You don't just get these things. Any kind of illness, it comes from somewhere. What is the source? And so when I tell them that it's breast implant illness, they all look at me because they don't know, and they don't know what they don't know. It's like them trying to tell you about nutrition when they've only had 6 weeks, and that's very true.
Yeah.
In their whole doctorate, degree, they only know 6 weeks of nutrition. I know more about nutrition from my network marketing companies than I do from my doctors. So,
Right.
and again, from other people. So you got to ask yourself too, like what and who is your group? Like who do you hang out with the most? What is it that you do? What do you know the most?
Yeah.
So then take that a step further and say, okay, you know what? I learned this from so and so. And like you said in the beginning, to be open your heart, like let it be a flower, be open to the things, and
Yes.
be open to learning something new, so that you can, lies told us, stop believing all the things that people tell you, and you take it to heart
Yeah.
and believe that, because every belief that we have it can be broken,
Yeah.
and we can be led to believe something different, and breast implant illness is no different. And that's where my heart hurts for people, and I get it. There are some women that end up with breast cancer and they end up totally having, I've seen them, just totally flat chested, god awful scars. Like my heart hurts for them. And at the same time, though, I'm like thinking, oh my God, though, your life was spared. Like
Yeah.
what? Because we are so conditioned to think that we have to have boobs, or we have to, again, I do too. Like even coming here, I'm like, come on, man. Like my cheeks are hanging down to here. Like I want to go up. Like, I wanna go up. It's that old saying, my face is falling, but I can't get up.
You're so silly. You is so silly. But I have one more question. I know I said that. I have one more question because I want to tap into your wisdom that you have gained through this whole experience. What will you tell a woman who is considering explant surgery but is still on the fence?
Do it. Just do it. Like just make that decision. It is a decision. And again, there is over, again, one group was 160,000 women. I moved to another group I absolutely love, and there's hundreds in there. And again, though, you can put breast in Facebook, that all these groups come up. Google it, breast implant illness, like you will find. Talk to Nyomi. She seriously has great connections. I'm telling you, don't waste your time on thinking and thinking and thinking, researching, because all the research too is on Facebook. You can find it all of it, like without question, without a doubt, it's there. And there's also another lady. She is a co-founder. I had to bring this up too because she's amazing. Her name is Robin Tout, Towt. She's actually a co-founder of the Global Advocacy Coalition, and it's called gpacunited.org. That's G as in go, P as in Paul, AC United.org. And she has advocated so hard for us that she was one of the women too that actually got the black box warnings put on,
Mm.
FDA approved for
Wow.
breast implants.
Mm.
So it is a big deal. So you can go onto that website and you will find all kinds of regulations and stuff. You'll find the poisons that are in silicone. Oh, that was another thing Nyomi and I talked about too, that people have a misconception that, oh, mine are gummy, or mine are saline, or mine are whatever. No.
Yeah.
Every single implant out there has to have a silicone lining because it has to be able to hold it up in all of that. So every single implant has a toxins, and they're all poisonous. It's not just one in particular. So, but you'll hear more about silicone than anything else, because that was the thing that started all of
That
this.
was a big thing that started all, and a big ban on it and everything. Because honestly, when I first got my implant, they were saline. And I thought that I was A-okay, but then my second implants were the silicone, and then the interview that I had with Laura, she let me know, no, the saline is just as toxic as the silicone ones. And I was just, flabbergasted, like, wow, wow. But you know what? We are coming to the end of this, and I want to say to you, Miss Shelly, that I am so, so deeply grateful for you, just your vulnerability, your courage, and just your willingness to just share your story just so openly. You are truly on the front lines of this, and I thank you. I truly thank you just for just your honesty and your authenticity, and even sharing your story and say, well, right now I'm getting feelings on those symptoms again, but now I know where it comes from. But also taking accountability. I didn't tell my doctor everything. You know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
if anything, people, when you go into the doctor's office, be honest about what's going on with your body. For me, everything that happened with my body, I said on my phone. I write a note on my phone what day it happened, what time. So when I go in there, that the doctors know this is what's happening to me. You understand what I'm saying? And don't let them gaslight you.
Oh,
Please
no.
don't let them. And I know we use gaslight a lot. Don't let them say, oh, it's going to be all right. No, be your own advocate. If
Yep.
you have to switch over to another doctor, then do so. Like she said, those groups, there's so many different groups out there that has the knowledge, and you can find where a doctor is in your neighborhood or in your city. And if you have to go take a bus ride or a train ride to somebody else, that's an investment in you. When I saw how much that it would cost for me and that my insurance would not cover it, and I'm going to tell y'all how much it's $14,000. $14,000 for my whole thing. And I remember sitting in the beginning, I was like, oh. And then I thought about it. No, I want to feel well. I want to be able to enjoy my children. I want to be able to enjoy my grandchildren. I want to be able to travel the world and speak and teach people about self love and help people. I want to do this. I want to be at 100. And I know what a 100 is. And I want to be back at 100. And for me to do that, I need to take out these things because they ain't doing nothing for me. People can't see them anyway. They lopsided right now. I'm not showing them anyway. You understand what I'm saying? but what I'm saying is too is that truly, and when I say this, ladies, and I know y'all said Naomi, but I'm gonna be flat chested. I'm gonna be girl. Let me tell you something. I did so much stuff when I was flat chested. I tell you, I ran faster. I jumped higher.
Yes. Yes. There really is so many benefits. I love it. I
I
love
was
it.
able to wear some really cute tops and all that other stuff, and not have to worry about having people on boob watch. You ever had the people on the boob watch? You go out to the club and you move too much, and then the boob fly. But
I
I know what
do.
I mean. I know you're like, Naomi, this is not funny. But we have to find humor. We have to find something good about this. Because one thing is I don't want to do, I don't want to shame anyone. And
No.
I don't want to shame myself or embarrass me because these are choices of us growing. Yeah, we were grown. I was 30 when you was 32. Wait, we were third grade. That's when
Yep.
we made this decision. You know, but this is what we do. And we cannot blame. I can say I can blame, on this and this, but I had the gift of choice, and that was the choice I made. But also, this is another choice that I have.
Yes.
You do too. So if you are sitting there and you do have implants in, and you have been thinking about it, and you're thinking about the money issue, this is an investment in you. This is an investment in your health. This is an investment in your future. This is an investment in your children, in your grandchildren, and everything that goes after that. It is an investment. An investment. All right, so there's something that we started to do just this month only. From beginning, we do a closing out a meditation. So right now, if you all can just close your eyes for this moment, so we can exit out on a positive note. All right. Now place both hands on your heart and take 3 deep breaths in. I want you to feel your heart beating steadily, faithfully. It's keeping you alive and strong. Now send gratitude to your body for all that it has carried, all that it has endured, and all that it continues to do for you each day. Thank your body for its wisdom, for the signal it sends to you, for its incredible capacity to heal and regenerate you. Now ask your body now, what do you need me to know? What wisdom do you have for me? And listen with your whole being to whatever arises. Maybe it's a message about rest or movement or nourishment. Or maybe it's encouragement about a decision that you're facing. And maybe it's a simple reminder of how loved and supported that you are. But whatever you receive, hold it with gratitude. Your body is your greatest ally, your wisest teacher, and your most faithful companion. Say to your body now, I trust you. I honor you. I choose to listen to your wisdom with love and respect. Take one more deep breath in and carry this commitment into your day. And when you are ready, gently open your eyes. All right, again, my beautiful people, thank you. This has been such an amazing show. Thank you so much again, Shelly. Do you have any last words for our listeners today?
Oh, well, first of all, again, I'm very honored to be here and to share this story. And I had stopped sharing my story for a while. So it was a God thing for me too, that I ended up with you in an interview last weekend to be on this podcast. And I know without a doubt that our stories can definitely impact others.
Yes.
And just to know that you're not alone. You're not alone. And if you're in that place of just feeling, like you said, shame or whatever it is, we have all felt it. And just let go of that just for a moment and just make the decision to jump in and ask somebody to even help you in your journey, because we're here for you to support you and love you.
Yes. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. And again, my beautiful people, this week I always give y'all like a little homework or something like this. So I want you to do something for me. I want you to practice deeper listening with your body. If each morning you ask yourself, how are you feeling today? How am I feeling today? What do I need? Each evening ask, what am I grateful for? And what did I learn today? If Shelly's story has resonated with you, please share this episode with someone who might need to hear it. Your sharing, it could be the bridge that helps another woman find her courage or feel less alone in this journey. And remember, whether you're facing a major health decision or just simply learning to trust yourself more deeply, you are not alone. There's a community of women who have walked before you, who are walking beside you, and who are cheering you on. So trust your journey. Trust your body's wisdom. Trust the courage that lives within you. You are more powerful than you know. So until next time, keep listening to your inner voice and remember that every step toward authenticity is a step toward freedom. Again, have an amazing, amazing day. Have a good one. Hey, my beautiful people, we are building something real over here on this channel, and I want you to be a part of it. So subscribe, like this, and drop a comment below. Tell me your biggest takeaway. I read every single one of them. This is the season of self-love, and it's your season. I'll see you Monday. Love you.